In this video, I'm gonna tell you the story of my very first trip on shrooms. Before I begin, I just want to say I'm not copyrighting Nanyi's content. Yeah, one of his first videos was about shrooms too, but let's be real, everyone has different experience on shrooms, so it's still original. So, get comfy, make yourself a cup of tea, not the shroom kind, unless that's your thing, I'm not judging you, and let's get into it. It all started back in high school when I first got interested in psychedelics. I was really fascinated by the idea that something could literally shift your perception of the world, and it supposedly has positive effects on your mental health. Well, unless you get too far and end up losing your mind, but hey, that's just a side effect. So anyway, I have this friend, let's call him George or whatever. We started a band together, that's a story for another time. And this guy had a crazy experience with all kinds of substance. He even knew proper psychological first aid, which made me feel safe. I wasn't scared about the whole thing, which is super important. You've gotta go into it with the mindset that it's going to give you something, not with fear. That's how you avoid a bad trip, you know? So we went looking for shrooms. George knew where they grew, so we headed out to pick some. One of the funniest things I remember him saying was, if you find shrooms, grab it right away, because if you turn away and look back, it won't be there. George swore they grew legs and ran away. So we started picking every shroom we could find, and once we had around 100 of them, we went back to George's place. Luckily, his parents weren't at home, so we had the whole place to ourselves for however long the trip would last. That's when the tea prep began. Yes, my very first experience with shrooms was drinking tea made from 100 shrooms. Definitely not something I'd recommend it for anyone's first time. You never really know how strong they will be. So we started boiling them into a tea, and once it was ready, we each poured ourselves a full cup. George said that eating them along with the tea makes it way stronger. Just drinking the liquid won't be enough. Yeah. So we started sipping and chewing, and I'm telling you, it tastes like absolute shit. And honestly, it looked like shit too. But hey, it's all about the effect, right? After we got through that nasty stuff, we sat down and wait for it to kick in, which usually takes about 30 minutes. In the meantime, we put on The Simpsons and just chilled on the couch. After like 10 minutes, I started feeling some belly pain. George was like, that's normal, at least you know it's starting to work. And that actually calmed me down. Later, I met people who said shrooms completely wrecked their stomach and made them feel awful. I got lucky. For me, it was just some pressure and nothing serious. Then, our pupils started to dilate, and when I mentioned it into George, he immediately jumped in the front of the mirror like he was hypnotized. He was just staring at himself, completely fascinated. Apparently, he finds that part really cool. And yeah, I will admit, it's kinda wild to see that happen to your own eyes from the first time. So we were just sitting on the couch, and after a while I started to feel like my legs was disconnecting from my body. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was this pleasant numbness. And at the same time, I feel this warm sensation flowing through my whole body, like it could feel my blood moving through my veins. I looked over at the George, and without me saying a word, he goes, "Isn't it the best when your legs start disconnecting from your body?" And I'm like, no fucking way. I'm feeling the exact same thing. The connection was just insane, like full telepathy or something. Then I look back at the TV, and suddenly the characters from The Simpsons start having these glowing outlines coming out of them, like they were 3D and 2D at the same time. I was just staring like, holy fuck, that's awesome. That one episode for like at least an hour. I was watching it like it was the first time I had ever seen animation. The colors were super unique, the outlines were moving, it was wild. At some point I looked back at George and it was like I unlocked a whole new layer of fucking reality. How do I explain it? You know how old South Park looked like? Cutout paper animation? Like there was a background, then a couch, and then a character laid on top. That's how I seen George. Like he was made of multiple layers of paper stuck together. It looked so amazing. I'm not even sure if I was seeing it right, but I swear I stared at him for like 20 minutes straight. Maybe even a whole hour. When I finally told him what I was seeing, he was already far gone. He's just say, sick. And we just keep sitting there and watching The Simpsons. Once the episode ended, we put some chill background music, like those hour-long lofi videos, and just sat there watching this looping video. We kept saying, yo, that's changing, even though it wasn't. It was literally a loop, but we sat there for like hours just chilling and vibing. After a while, the effects slowly started to wear off, but I still feel kinda weird. My liver was hurting a bit, probably because we drank a little alcohol too, and my belly felt like a mess. But mentally, I feel completely worry-free. Like everything was just fine. No stress, no problems, just pure chill. Yeah, I want shrooms again. So yeah, that was my first ever shroom trip, but definitely not the last. I got a few more stories to tell for those days, but I think in the next video I will talk about our band. I mentioned it earlier in the video, and trust me, that whole thing is just wild and hilarious. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the story, hit that like button and maybe subscribe too. And I will see you in the next one. So, bye.